What up, Stackers? BigstackMcgee here. How are you doing today? It is a cold and rainy Saturday afternoon where I'm at, but I have a nice package with a gold coin in here that I'm looking forward to unboxing in a moment. Been very, very busy the last few weeks. I think I had mentioned in my last video that my father-in-law had passed away, and created a huge stream of work for, especially for my wife, but for our family in general. And so I'll talk a little bit more at length about that after this unboxing, just because there's a lot of new things that I learned about wills and beneficiaries and probate and all kinds of information that is new to me that I'm sure many, many of you know full well, but I just thought I'd pass along a little bit of information and advice, as it were, pertaining to leaving an inheritance and providing for your heirs and things like that. But without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and unbox this. A little bit about this purchase. Last few weeks, there's been several eBay Bucks promotions, and I was fortunate to pick up something that Mr. Vegeta had featured on his channel. And there's nothing like getting gold at under spot, especially at what I consider to be deflated prices. So I'm going to go ahead and unpackage what I got, and we'll be right back. Okay, so the coin that I picked up was a nice 20 francs. I believe it's the Rooster variety. So that means there's a little less than a fifth of an ounce of gold in this particular coin. Let's get it out and take a closer look, though. There we go. Coin appears to be in pretty good condition. Let's see what the date is there. Hard for me to be able to tell. I'm going to have to zoom in here a little bit. I don't know if that's going to work. Come on. That's not agreeing with me. There we go. Unfortunately, from where I'm at, the camera display is backwards, so I can't tell if that's 1962 or 02 or what that is. 1909 is what I think it is. This is in fantastic condition for being 100 years old, assuming my eyes are correct. Let's look at that rim a little bit. That's a very, very nice coin. So yeah, picked it up for under spot, utilizing eBay Bucks. And again, thanks to Mr. Vegeta for pointing this one out. This was a listing, and I don't remember who I picked this up from. I think it might be Liberty Coin. Yep, Liberty Coin. And this is one of those, the few people on eBay that are selling that aren't charging sales tax for my state yet, even though they're probably supposed to. Yeah, so very, very beautiful coin. Another, I've had a few of these, and if I can get it for under spot, heck, that's going to be an easy pickup. All right, so a little bit about the situation I was talking about regarding my wife's father. Details, I will just give you the nutshell factoids here. So my wife's father is a biker. He's one of the people that had turned me on to motorcycles, and was a lifetime rider, had been riding for over 50 years, and he perished in a one-vehicle accident in the southern United States. He is from the north central United States, and all of his other family, besides my wife, who lives in the same state as he did, all lives in the southern United States or in South Africa. And so, of all the family that are there, the potential heirs and the people that would stand to claim the inheritance, only my wife lived in the same state. So a lot of the stuff was on her. So she ended up driving down. It was about a 5-hour ride to get to where he lived, and she had a way of getting into his house that he owned. And she found a will. It was sealed in an envelope, and opened it up, and it had very specific instructions. But we knew very quickly that will was null and void because it was not notarized, nor was it witnessed by two people, which in the United States is the law for a will to be valid. And what that means is that any positions that he had that were not immediately named with a beneficiary is going to have to go to probate. And probate is the process by where wills are either proven or by where an inheritance is divvied up amongst heirs. So, in the week that has transpired since this has all gone down, the funeral was last week, and all the family was able to come back, and they were all able to go to his apartment, or his house that he owned, and they were able to kind of claim some things. And if you've ever gone through this, sometimes it can be a real uncomfortable situation because tragedy and grieving tends to bring out the worst in people. And fortunately for my wife, her family was all very I guess, just, what's the word? They got along, and no one was fighting over anything like that of her dad's possessions. There's some, and he left behind some nice things. And so it sounds like I'm going to get a nice big gun safe and several of his. He collected guns, and so I get to add a few more to my collection. And so I'm very, very happy and thankful that because he wanted them all to be split up amongst his children. And most of his furniture and all that kind of stuff is going to end up getting sold, and his clothes and things like that donated. And he did leave behind some accounts of which there will be an inheritance to his children. And some of that had a beneficiary, like he had a retirement account that specifically named his children and the percentages that they should get in a beneficiary form. All of that stuff avoids probate in court to split up. It's going to be just split up the way that he intended through his beneficiary designation. His property, his remaining vehicles and motorcycles and things like that, have to go through probate. And his house that he owned, and he did own it fully outright, which is fantastic, but that will also have to go through probate before any kind of monies can be split up amongst the heirs. And so the one thing that I learned that was super important is that everything that you own, that you either have a deed to or retirement accounts, bank accounts, things like that, you have the opportunity to list beneficiaries. So if you want to make life very easy for your heirs, make sure that your beneficiary information is updated. It's as simple as printing off their form, and sometimes I suppose you might have to have that notarized or witnessed, but making sure that stuff is in updated form is going to be hugely beneficial to your heirs, including the deed to your house, or any of your physical property. If you own a vehicle, you can add beneficiaries to all of those things once you own them. So that's my biggest recommendation, is that you can avoid having to go to court and have the court legally split up property if you can make sure that your beneficiaries are updated. That's the first bit of information. The second is if you do decide to make a will, and everybody should, it is important, and you can get great forms online. You can get, you can do your own kind of like, by official law documents that can be the will. You can certainly go to a lawyer, and you can certainly get advice along that route. But your will is not valid unless it specifically states how your property and estate needs to be split up, and it is signed, and it is notarized, and it is have witnesses that are there that's saying that I authorize this. Otherwise, that document is null and void. So that's very interesting. It's all new information to me. I've never had to deal with any of this kind of stuff before, but that's my recommendation for you. And the more that you can spell out for your heirs, the better. The one thing that my father-in-law did very well is that he clearly stated where all of his possessions were, where they were located, and where the deeds and things like that were. So that at least was a important step. But some of his things did not have the beneficiaries, which means it must go through probate. So that's where that stands. And of course, my wife was able to come up with a fitting tribute for her father, and he had lived a full life, which is great. He had died tragically, like I said, in a motorcycle accident, but he was 70 years old, and he died doing something that he absolutely loved. And I do have to, I don't know, I just give him tribute. He did pass on one of his Harley-Davidson motorcycles to me, so that is something that I get to bring up to where I live. And I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be my honor to be able to ride a bike that my father-in-law rode for years. So that is something that's coming up. I think I had mentioned in a previous video that I had really wanted to get a motorcycle of my own, and I had been saving up. And so this is kind of the next level, I guess, for me, is just to inherit my father-in-law's bike, because he was inspirational to me. But all right, a little bit long-winded on this one, but just thought I'd pass along the information that I had. I may do a future update as I get more in the process of probate and things like that. But just have your ducks in a row. Make sure that you let your heirs be able to grieve properly and not have to worry about what to do about all your stuff because you didn't prepare by leaving beneficiary designations and a proper will. One more quick peek. This beautiful piece of gold. There you go. All right, and to answer your question, in case you're wondering, yes, my wife does get an inheritance from her father besides just materials, and he was very generous in the way that he lived and saved, and it's inspirational to me to make sure that I do the same thing for my children. So, thanks for watching. This is Big Stack McGee. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Live life to the fullest, and we'll see you later. Take care.